All right. Good morning, Ruslan. Thank you for joining this podcast. How are you today?
Great. How are you, Ayan? Thank you so much for inviting me to the show. I really appreciate it.
I'm well, thank you. The pleasure is mine. Before we dive in, just a little context. Growth Amped is the organization that I'm part of, and we specialize in helping IT service providers, scale their growth challenges. And this podcast is mainly just for learning and educating our users, myself, our viewers, industry leaders such as yourself, just getting some viewpoints and helping us learn as we get leaders to share their experiences and trends and how the industry is doing, which way things are headed from their perspective. So without further ado, please go ahead and introduce yourself and what it is that you do.
Absolutely. My name is Ruslan Desyatnikov, founder and CEO of QA Mentor. We are a global software quality assurance testing company operating in multiple different regions around the world, supporting over 470 clients across 28 countries, specializing purely in quality assurance and software testing. I've been around for the last 28 years. That my journey as a junior QA tester, and then made myself up and started my own company 15 years ago.
Very nice. Amazing. So it looks like you and I kind of started our journey very similarly. About 25 years ago, I started as a QA intern at H&R Block. As you know, there wasn't the AI or any of this extra stuff to help you out, and a lot of it was manual. So I remember the days of QTP and Quality Center and Load Runner. Mercury was the company, I think, back in the day, and then it went to HP, and it's I can't remember who owns it now.
I think a couple other companies acquired.
Yeah,
I forgot the name of the company as well, but that's, yeah, you're absolutely
yeah,
correct. 25 years ago, WinRunner, Load Runner,
yep,
Quality Center was the major testing
yep.
products out there. All the companies were leveraging and utilizing them. I also get my hands on the WinRunner. That was the first automation tool back in the days. Mercury Interactive was very, very popular back then.
Yes, I still remember my manager walking me through my first day, and when I saw a QTP, click this. This is going to automate this for you. The value is going to go in here and run this step. And I was like, well, this is kind of cool because I was coming in as a fresh grad and just trying to absorb some of the industry knowledge, and it was like a shiny new toy for me, and it was a great experience. And yeah, so here we are, so many years later, and happy to know that those toys are still around. They've, just gotten better and more improved. But, I did get a chance to look at your YouTube channel, and I saw, your presentation on, how we're getting over dependent on automation testing and the human element is missing. And there's so many things that can be said, right, about that. There's people are not getting enough training before they start diving into this, and they don't get a chance to touch and feel and smell the product. And so I'm totally with you on that. So yeah, very, very, very good content. And I saw that you have a big diversity of teams and locations through some of your videos. Love it. So just, you did talk about your years in the QA business. Tell us a little bit about your role and how it fits into the larger picture, in addition to being the leader at the helm of the company.
Absolutely. So as a CEO, I'm playing multiple different roles and I'm wearing multiple different hats as probably every other CEO out there. So, I like to be grounded to our employees. I like to be, at the ground level, at the detail level. I never like to operate at the high level. I try to understand obstacles, problems, even though nowadays I still interested, in having a brainstorming sessions on the requirements, new requirements from the clients, or looking at the test plan and overall strategy and the testing itself, or even find defects. It's still fun for me to look at the product and identify some issues, problems, usability aspects. But apart from that, I also
Oh, no worries.
uh, for some reason I got disconnected. I don't know what
Yeah,
happened.
no worries. I got the part where, you're The defects was the last thing. Like, you get into a little more details and
Okay. Okay. So let's continue, right? Okay. So I still like to go into the ground level, even to find defects, look for usability issues. But at the same time, I need to wear additional hats such as sales and marketing hats. I am the one who actually attending various of different meetings with the clients, trying to identify gaps in their quality during the software testing processes. I feel that very often on those calls, I act like a doctor trying to understand what the issues are, trying to prescribe solutions right there in the calls. Marketing is a very, very important part because that triggers, additional opportunities and leads, the various of different webinars, seminars, sharing knowledge with testing community, sharing knowledge with the executive decision makers. It's been our DNA since the inception, and that's the reason we gave a name QA Mentor, all about mentorship, guiding, strategic support. So multiple different hats, never bored, always busy across the board, supporting various of different time zones, 24/7. Man, that's still fun, after many, many, many years of operations. I still feel there's a lot of things still needs to be done. There's very interesting things going on with AI. So that's very exciting time we're actually in. And at the same time, there's plenty of things which we can provide and support our clients and future clients as well. So again, I'm not thinking everybody's asking me, Ruslan, how long you can last like this. And I said, well, I don't know how long. I still feel, good. It's like I'm big fan of the soccer.
yeah,
Sometimes when you reach, close to 35 and, the soccer players, retiring, right? And then the question is, so when are you planning to stop playing soccer? Usually, soccer player says, well, I still energetic. I still wants to score goals. I still, have a power and strength to keep going. And that's me as well. I still didn't reach what we wanted to achieve out there. We still have a lot of good, big goals and aspirations overall. And, we're still fighting the battle.
yeah, absolutely. Just picking up the soccer analogy from one of your presentations. In this case, it looks like you're the goalkeeper, the defender, the forward, the eastern flank, the western flank, all of
You
it,
you
huh?
actually very observative. As a matter of fact, back in the days, I came from Moldova. I came to United States when I was 16 years old, but I used to play soccer for the youth national team. I was a goalkeeper. Although the height was always a challenge, I'm not a super high, high guy, and that was always a challenge for coaches to say, Ruslan, your height needs to be higher to be a really great goalkeeper. But I said, well, the goalkeeper, I agree, the skills and everything, but you have to have a human intelligence. So throughout all my life, human intelligence, how you're gonna, you know, take the position. It's not necessarily you need to be, 6 foot, tall in order to be a great goalkeeper, but how you play, how you organize the defense, how you position yourself towards the ball, how you observe things. But looks like you're very observative as well. You identify and study a lot of great insights and information on social media. So I really appreciate it. Keeping an eye on our.
I try, Hopefully everybody can go with the HIST formula that you have. Like it is definitely a mantra for success.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. No, this is great insight. So given all the things that you do, what does a typical day look like for you?
A typical day looks like. So, I have to bring my daughter to school, and that starts very early, 7 in the morning. I live in Florida now. I moved from New York to Florida after 30 years spent in New York. The school starts early, high school starts earlier. So then I get back to my home office, and that's my day starts. I start with, discussing with my management team, executive management team across the world, various of different locations, and we're starting every day, single day, with reviewing, the planned activities for today and what have been, accomplished yesterday, and what are the risks and issues are and challenges are. So that's a typical meeting where we start. And then, the regular meeting starts with the clients. There is a different polls, interviews. I'm part of, interviewing process as well. Every single person who we hire personally want to interview as well. And the last one who kind of give the final green light, and it's super important. So I'm dedicating a lot of time to, you know, talking to a lot of, candidates which we are hiring. Also, I try to give back to the community. I initiated recently a free sessions, 30-minute sessions with those who are struggling and have challenge finding the job. Your industry get a pretty big hit nowadays in terms of the current situation on the market where many organizations are letting QA folks go. Unfortunately, they're looking
Right.
for savings, and unfortunately they're finding savings in the QA area, which in my opinion it's a big mistake. So I speaking with number of people and trying to have free sessions to improve their resumes, give them some more
Sure.
insight, give them the directions on what they need to learn, how they need to position themselves to be more sort of valuable out there or have a better, more impressive resume. I have number of trainings, webinars conducted as well. But I like working closely with my guys. I like to, solve some of the challenges. I like to coach and guide them because if you invest in your people,
Mhm.
they will grow quicker and faster. And, that's super important as we're growing across the board and we're operating in multiple different countries. It becomes a little challenging. And that's the reason why we kind of build the right foundation, the training foundation, the strategy methodology built in where we can adopt this very quickly and we can integrate this for any new hire. They're going through our own 3 months sort of an adoption, a honeymoon period, I call it,
Sure.
get up to speed and be able to be self-effective, self-efficient, and understand our strategies and methodologies, how to operate and how to apply all these techniques for our customers and clients. So, and then the day goes very late, unfortunately. I keep telling everybody that you need to balance, 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 but I actually cannot balance this myself,
Yes.
so very often, the days goes until midnight. I try to spend when all the meetings are done and everything is kind of quiet, I try to spend some time on social media, which is LinkedIn primarily. There's a lot of questions, so a lot of messages we've been receiving from various of different individuals asking for some advices, some help, some questions, posts, articles, comments. So that takes
Yes.
and occupies as well a couple hours of my day. But despite the fact I try to also dedicate some time to my family, spending time with them. I like active activities. I play with my daughter tennis. We swim all the time. I have a big pool which I built. That was my dream, and not
Nice.
leveraging this on a daily basis that would be a big problem. So I try to
Yes.
put it there. That's pretty much my day. Every day is almost the same. But also, I'm talking to a lot of people from LinkedIn, meeting them and we discussing and brainstorming different types of situations, different types of strategies, different types of tools which are getting hit on the market. Something which they build, they asking for those opinions. So it's a lot of interesting things, a lot of interesting people, individuals like yourself I'm meeting, and that's makes the whole journey very exciting.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. No, it definitely seems like you're good thing you're making the most of being in Florida with the swimming pool and making sure that you get time. And I'm right there with you. Tennis, I love it. I play with my son, and some mornings I usually do like the 3:15 wake up. 4 o'clock, I'm at the gym,
Wow.
get a couple hours of workout. 6 o'clock, they open the tennis courts, and I rent the ball machine and just got to do it right. Otherwise, life is just gonna
You have
consume
to
us. And
invest time in
yep,
yourself, in your health. This is super, super
yeah.
important. I do get it. I do understand it. I advise this all the time. But when it comes to me, I can't have those excuses. So every time I said, you got to do it, but I try as much as I can.
I think you do this. I learned, I came across a quote. Everybody gets 24 hours in a day. Some of us just learn how to sleep faster.
And sometimes I wish there are more than 24 hours in a day as well,
Same,
right?
same, same. Yeah. Everyone's like, what time you go to bed? 8:30, 9 o'clock, wake up at 3. Otherwise, the life of an entrepreneur, like you said, you're doing so many things and you want to make sure you have time for the family. When are you going to get everything done?
Yeah.
So
Plus, you need to
I'm
rest. Your mind needs to rest. You need to eat
correct.
food. I mean, otherwise, you're not becoming, effective. You're slowing things
Yeah.
down. I mean, I feel it. Maybe 20 years ago, I could have stay awake until 4 o'clock, and that was no
Yes.
problem. Now
Yes.
I'm feeling it. Unfortunately, I feel, yeah, I'm not as strong as I used to be as the time
Right.
goes by and progress. So you have to balance things to make sure that you give enough rest and you let your body not be exhausted all the time. Otherwise,
Correct.
no more new ideas will hit you if your brain is over occupied.
Yeah, absolutely. So that being said, you made an excellent point that there's a lot of folks that, when it comes to cost cutting, they're looking at QA because they're looking at it as a cost center rather than a value center, right? So if my next topic actually was going to be talking about major shifts and in the industry. So I think this is a perfect segue if you want to educate our viewers, what are the major trends that you're seeing versus what was going on 5, 10 years ago and now with everything we've been through in the last 10 years, what do you see?
Yeah, that's a great question. Some of the testers were not around, 10, 15 years ago or 20 years ago. So it's interesting to share this information, how I was sort of part of this transformation transition and where I started and now where I end up now. So I'll take you through all this whole journey, history. So I started, as I said, 28 years ago as a junior tester. At that time, nobody really knows what testing is all about. I
Hmm.
have a very difficult time after graduating, find a new job, although some of my peers were able to get it very quickly. Don't know what it was about me, but there was no luck. So for 3 months, I was kind of struggling trying to find any positions and I couldn't. And finally, I found a position in startup. They offered me a junior tester, QA tester. And I didn't know what, testing is all about. And when I started this after a few months and realized that this is absolutely great, I never wanted to become a developer. I hated coding. I hated scripting.
Same.
It was not me, even
Yeah.
though I graduated with computer information system and then I get the MBA in technology management. And you might think, well, this guy got to be like, super coder, but,
Right.
I always like more destruction. And that's why I like to, destroy applications rather than build them, right? I like to critique them. I like to complain about them, right? I like to see the value which every application brings. So back in the days, 25 years ago, it was more about educating decision makers on the importance of quality. Since I was a junior person, I also didn't have so much knowledge, but I realized and I saw that many organizations decided to invest into quality assurance and testing. And that was
Mhm.
absolutely amazing to see. Uh,
Mm.
10 years, 8 to 10 years, we started to see independent, unbiased departments are built in within the various of different IT organizations. We even started to see testing center of excellence, which are getting
Right.
built. I mean, that was all unbelievable and great. That was really a reflection of where a lot of companies started to take serious approach about about the quality. And then what happened, and again, this is my thought process. I got a lot of heat for that on LinkedIn, but that's just my personal opinion. And all of my opinions, what I share, it's my personal. Nobody needs to believe or agree to this. Everybody have their own opinion. So then came Agile. When Agile came, immediately I start seeing things, not immediately, maybe 2 years after, I start seeing different things. First of all, Agile start removing the QA leadership positions because the companies decided to think that those leaders no longer,
Sure.
applicable to support because now QA become the part of the Scrum teams and they are part of that team. So there is really no need managers. Scrum masters could manage them, product owner could manage them, development manager could have managed them. And as we start seeing how, very experienced director of QA started to, lose the job. The quality become integrated and becomes ultimately everyone's responsibility. But when you see that everybody is responsible for something, it means nobody is responsible for anything. It's got to be
Right.
somebody who owns this. It got to be an owner. You cannot have multiple owners to own things. So, I start seeing that quality becomes compromised
Yep.
in many different organizations. I start seeing where QA is losing voices at the table, where, because QA is now kind of reported to CTO or development managers, they cannot really, complain a lot about the quality,
Right.
because every time when you complain, the other side thinks that you're delaying the process and everybody wants to release software very quickly and very fast. So it becomes where, QA professionals started voicing some risks and issues. Nobody wanted to take it positively, meaning that because of those issues, now we have to delay, clients will not be happy. So at the same time, I start seeing a lot of, releases are going with defects, with problems.
Sure.
Not
Sure.
critical, obviously, problems, but still issues where something might need to be addressed before you going live.
Sure.
So all of this is contributed. So now we are 28 years after I started to see things improving. I started to see things are collapsing,
Right.
especially where everybody started to remove QA, where people think that it's a cost center. And many people don't see value from QA in terms of ROI. I can easily contribute. I can easily direct quality to the revenue generation, to the client's acquisition, to the client's attrition, lowest rates, because, if you're not happy with the product, you will go to your competitor and use that product, right? So to me, it's pretty simple and understandable. The better quality is, the more potential clients you will have and more revenue generation you can gain, right? But that's
Right.
not what decision makers are all thinking about. Some of them are still value quality, but some of them looking and say, well, if developers will code better, then you don't really need to test anything. If AI will now write the code, then why do we need testers to test the code if there will be no problems and no issues? But the problem is that the application can be defect free, but it will
Sure.
not provide the business value. It will not provide everything what business users are looking for. So defect free doesn't mean successful. That's why our slogan is, we make product successful. That's my favorite slogan, because we not only trying to, eliminate all the issues and problems, but we're trying to make the product rich functionality, usable, user friendly, provide intuitiveness, self understanding, because those are very critical aspects when it comes to the product maturity and really product success out there. So that's what I see. And now I feel like I get back to where I started, where now I need to start again, make decision makers aware on the importance of quality, on the importance
Yeah.
of investment into the quality, on the right investment into the quality, where not only automation they think can solve all the quality issues, but the actual human part of the testing, which is missing. And that's the reason why I
Yes.
basically started this HIST movement
Yep.
6 months ago, to try to fight back injustice in the sense that
Yes.
everybody is over upset of, automation and AI, and they try to rely completely on that aspects, thinking that that will magically baked in quality. And unfortunately, I do support and I like automation, but it's got to be a balance. You
The
can't
balance.
just rely on one side blindly and think that, all the issues, all the problems will be resolved just with automation or AI. So that's
Yeah.
sort of the battle which I choose to fight. It's
Yeah.
a very tough battle. Not everybody agree with that battle. Many of our competitors say, oh, you want automation? Yeah, let's do automation. And they make money. I said,
Sure.
well, let's have a right balance. But they said,
Right.
well, so you don't like automation? I said, I do like automation, but I believe in strong balancing
Sure.
with the human judgment, human intuition, human aspects, which absolutely need to be part of this. And then some, decision makers don't like that approach.
Yeah. Eh, Well, the balance definitely is important, right? Because you want to be able to scale it with the automation, but you want the human to be accountable for the design and the strategy, right? Because AI is not going to know what strategy, what is the goal you're trying to accomplish. Because every piece of software that you're testing or application you're testing is going to have its own unique goals, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So with this shift, with the advent of agile 10 plus years ago, people looking at QA differently and starting to think more of automate versus, qualitate. How has this trend impacted your business per se or your growth strategy? Where you perceived, yourself, your company being about 5 years ago, if you were say just look at 2025, I want to be here versus, how's it affected your strategy overall?
So it definitely impacted, since QA industry is impacted, then, everybody around it also, suffer a little bit. Our company, is now different from that. We actually got hit pretty badly. We got hit during the COVID time, as many other companies got hit, but we were able to recover very quickly. But 3 years ago, we started seeing this trend. And that's for some reason actually happens along with the war in Ukraine. So that's also
Okay.
contributed. We have a big team in Ukraine as well. Many clients,
Mhm.
decided to move away from, unfortunately, outsourcing to Ukraine because of the situation there. There was no internet. The mindset was not there. So many clients took this as a risk factor. I can't blame them for that. I understand. So certain projects we were able to transition to India. Certain
Yep.
projects we were not able and we lost. But overall, definitely the trend looks like we're losing positions because many organizations around which we serve, they downsizing QA, unfortunately. And they
Oh,
downsizing not only because they think that automation or AI can substitute that, but also because of the economical challenges. Overall directives are, try to cut the budgets, and, they cannot cut developers because they still need to build products, deliver features, but they cutting, unfortunately, QA because,
QA.
they need to survive, and they think that they will be able to survive without QA or
Yeah.
have maybe worse quality, but still, they will be able to save $1 on that, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that will cost them more. They understand, they
Correct.
know, managers there know themselves, but they cannot do anything about it. That's the sad part.
I think the opportunity cost is something that they're missing, right? Because we look at software as a service, infrastructure as a service, quality as a service. What is uh, I'm sure you've thought about this and you've had sleepless nights about this, right? How do you get the customer to understand that, hey, you're trying to save $10,000 here, but you don't understand this is going to cost you, potential customers moving over to competitors, or if you have an SLA that comes with reparations attached, where if you don't have the level of uptime or if there's strategic things that a company can't do with the solution, then they are on the hook to pay a fine or to make up for it.
Absolutely. So what I created is the, value proposition specifically for them to understand the metrics around how, quality can actually bring and generate more revenue for you, or how quality of your applications
Hmm.
can potentially save many, compliance fines or issues down the road. And that has to do with, let's say, for example, accessibility testing. Not many companies investing into the right accessibility testing levels. And as a result of this, one little mistake can cause them millions and millions of dollars of the lawsuits. Same goes for security penetration testing. I mean, apart
Mhm.
from the reputational damages, there's, again, compliance costs in terms of lawsuits as well. Performance
Yeah.
testing, it's super, super important. I mean, having problems with, response time in production will completely, eliminate various of different users. I mean, how many clients called us and they said, Ruslan, we just launched the application. And then after, 1 hour of trial, client leaves and never comes back or never reactivated the free trial, or how many mobile apps were installed and downloaded, and
Right.
within a minute or two, users just dropped and never came back. And that has to do with usability, where users are confused. They don't know what to do next. We also
Yeah.
testing games. You would not believe how many games, a lot of, questions were asked. Ruslan, can you investigate? We just launched this game, which we invested several millions of dollars, and we have, 500 downloads, but after minute and a half,
Yep.
players are
Gone.
dropping and never came back again to
Yeah.
play the game. What is the problem? And we start
Sure.
looking into this. We started drilling down into understanding exactly what is the issue, what potential could happen at that 1 minute and 30 seconds area. And we're finding issues. Many of them has to do with usability testing. And this is super, super important. If you are a user, right, you think you're a smart user, you think that if you cannot figure out this application, then there got to be something wrong with this application, not with
Yes.
me. I'm not stupid. I can figure out things. Application is stupid. So if application
Right.
is stupid, I don't need to use this application. I'll go to my competitor, right? So that's basically what's happening out there. So usability aspect, extremely important. And now you can tell me how we can automate usability. How can we leverage anything
Right.
which will actually test the usability aspect of the application? How automation will
Well,
solve
mhm.
those types of usability problems? It cannot, because applications are meant for human. So if applications are meant and built for human, there got to be human aspects to evaluate and determine if there is a usability aspects there or not. Automation will
Yes.
not be able to assess this, at least at this point of time. I mean, with advancements of AI, anything can happen. As a matter of fact, we tested some of the interesting applications where the camera actually is capturing the usability reaction. So let's say you never saw the application, you start
Sure.
as a user testing the application, and all of a sudden your eyes got, or your expression got puzzled, right? And it
Right.
measures at what screen, at what functionality it got
Mhm.
puzzled, and it's sending you those interesting, important signals to say, well, look at this area. The user
Wow.
were a little puzzled or a little surprised in what he or
Sure.
she saw. And that might give you those indicators what to look for in this specific area. So there are attempts getting into the usability aspect, but I still believe the human judgments needs to be there, and that comes from
Yes.
the intelligent tester.
No, that's brilliant, actually. I never thought about that. The camera actually captures real time,
Your
not a
emotions,
visual cue.
guys,
Yeah. Yeah.
expressions, you know,
Yeah.
whether you do
There's no AI
this
for
or
that.
you do this, or you open your eyes wide, right? Or you
Right.
laugh from
Right.
something, right? It's very interesting. And that's in translates and gives you some interesting indications. So now human can go into the application, into those screens to see what is wrong there, what might be the problem.
It's like a log file that you can see.
Exactly.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But log files exactly tells you this is
Right.
exception error, right?
Yep.
Here,
Yeah.
you still need try to figure out because you
Yep.
just got a little bit of insight. Now you have to go inside and really try to imagine why they were surprised
Yes.
or why they were puzzled or why they were disturbed, right?
Awesome. No, this is great. I'm learning so much from you, so I appreciate you sharing. So, given the current state, right, with everything we've been talking about, what QA mentor, what is it that you could say has been working well, and what is it that's frustrating? If we break this down, right, what works well in your organization, what areas, and what areas are you wish you could do better uh, across the business?
Absolutely. So, what is working well? What is working well is the fact that we established this foundational framework where we can adopt and bring on any new employee, and the new employee will get, the strategy pack and the
Mm,
methodology. Because we build internal training programs, we also build number of e-learning programs. We all about education and training. So that aspect works very well. Everybody on the same page, whether we operate in Nigeria or in India
sure.
or in Ukraine or in Romania, everybody holistically operating at the same levels. And that's the reason why we also invested heavily into CMMI level. We got appraised at level 3. We also invested into ISO 27001, 9001, 20001. So all of this, principles and all of this, procedures standardized across the organization, and that helping a lot.
For sure.
Also, ability for us to, build internal practices within QA Mentor. So we build based on performance testing, based on the automation testing, based on robotic process automation, based on usability aspects, accessibility aspects, security penetration testing aspects. So we have those internal kind of islands where we have operating with the subject matter experts, and we have the director level, very expert subject matter experts driving those verticals. Also, we built industry-wise support groups. So, for instance, if we're supporting clients in financial sector, banking, or healthcare, we have verticals where we have experienced testers supporting just specific those verticals, and they have many.
Hmm.
So that's what's working well. What is not working well right now is ability to convince, future clients on importance of human element in testing. That's what is not working well. So in other words,
His.
companies forcing me to lie and say, well, yeah, let's do it this way. Let's just do the automation and that's it. And I cannot lie no matter what. If I don't believe in the strategy, I cannot agree to this. This is me, And some people
Sure.
say, Ruslan, why are you doing this? All of your competitors saying what clients wants to hear, and you're saying the honest thing which clients don't want to hear, and that's causing you projects, that's causing you money and business and everything else. But I just cannot change, I guess. I try to explain honestly, what will work, because based on my 28 years of experience, I see what worked, what didn't work. What didn't work many, many times, when even I tried with the
Hmm.
clients, it still didn't work. So I know already, and I'm trying to protect that investment. But unfortunately, some clients don't believe that. And they said, well, then, somebody else promised us this, and that, will go there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what is not working well. I wish many people will trust us, will leave us. But the interesting thing and the interesting dynamic is that they returning back after they waste
Mhm.
money, after they invest with some other vendors, they coming back when they out of the budget, and they said, Ruslan, can you give us significant discount since we out of the budget? Imagine that. That's what I see a lot nowadays. But I still understand the decision makers mindset when it comes to testing. The testing needs to be done quick. That's
Yep.
very important aspect,
Yep.
with the best possible quality, right? That's the expectations, and within the budget, right? Those three
Yep.
things, if we can provide all these three things to them, that's the winning formula. Now, the quality investments comes, with the right solution, right? You cannot
Right.
just put one tester and have the tester do everything: performance testing, automation testing, security testing, build the test cases, find the defects. Unfortunately, that's another obstacle and another problem where many clients are looking for this superheroes, Superman, Superwoman from QA, which will do everything. And that's where my
Right.
other sort of analogy comes to a soccer team, where we have goalkeeper, we have defenders, we have the midfielder, we have now. If
Yes.
I'm a goalkeeper and coach will start forcing me to play offense like Ronaldo
Yeah.
or Messi to score goals, I mean,
Right.
that's not me. I'm not going to be able to do this. I mean, I
Right.
will try to do my best, but I'm not going to be the best at, right? So I am a strongly believer that everybody should play their own positions, which they're good at, and really control that position and really contribute to that position to the best potential
Yeah.
abilities. And that's the reason why when I said, well, we have really strong automation engineers, but don't force automation engineers to build manual test cases. They just don't
Yeah.
want to do that. They're not excited about this. And if somebody is not exciting about this, they're not going to be, accomplishing a very good things. They meant to build automation scripts, let them do this job. And for that reason, you got to hire this person. Let the other person, subject matter experts who understand and can build the test cases and can identify a lot of defects and risks and issues, but they're not understanding automation. Don't force that person to learn automation and do automation,
Right.
because he or she will not do it. Will be
He's
like
not cut
me.
out.
I didn't like automation to begin with. I didn't like coding. Otherwise, I would become a
Yeah.
developer. It's not me. I
Yeah.
don't want to be forced to do something which I don't like to do it. Right. So that's the winning strategy and formula, where you have to build teams with the right people. You don't need to look for the same skill set from 11 players. Somebody good
Correct.
in this, somebody good in that, somebody not good in this, and that's okay, because he or she is good in better things and other things, and that's all okay, and that's normal. As long as you position them well, and they will all have the strategy behind, right? The game plan behind, they will win. They will become champions. They will achieve really great results. But
Yeah.
don't tell me, like, again, soccer analogy. So not a single coach wants somebody like a, owner of the team come and tell what strategy he needs to play,
Yeah.
right? I mean, he
Yeah.
pays money. I do get it. Yes,
Right.
he owns the club and everything. He buys players, but he
Yep.
doesn't understand the strategy,
Strategy.
because he is not a coach, right? So let the
Yep.
coach deal, and let the coach be responsible if he or she will screw up, right? But don't
Yeah.
tell what needs to be done, because you're really not qualified to tell this, and that's the challenge, and that's the problem, unfortunately.
I do like the coach analogy because it feels like a QA coach can really make or break a product, right? They can lay out the strategy, utilize the best skills of all the 11 players on the team, and make sure that each one has their areas. And then you need in American football, we have the offensive coordinators and the defensive coordinators. It's similar to that, right? Is there any metric at QA Mentor that you are the most focused on improving?
So I'm a big fan of metrics. Many sessions I conducted about the metrics, because I make, and we all collectively make our decisions, conclusions, determinations, improvements based on metrics. So we gather many, many different metrics, and we build many different metrics for many, many organizations. Many people claiming that metrics is micromanagement. Metrics never will give you a good sense of information. We're not collecting metrics to be micromanagers. We're collecting metrics to be smarter, to make more intelligent decisions. For example, in QA community, people are laughing from the managers who collecting number of test cases, people are building number of defects they're identifying. They don't understand that all of this information helps to analyze and understand productivity levels of that person. Based on those metrics, he or she knows, and we know how long it's going to take for somebody to build the test cases, similar types of functionality or similar types of applications. So this is all input to be more smarter, to be more intelligent in providing estimations, to providing the timelines, to providing the cost, because knowing what the person's capabilities are. It's like, for example, if you're a painter, right, and you're painting rooms, right, you look at
Mhm.
the room size, you can tell, well, per day, I can
Sure.
probably cover 6 rooms, 7 rooms. That's the
Mhm.
statistics. That's a good information. So now I know how much to charge. If my employee can paint 7 rooms per day,
Sure.
then I can estimate that. People completely translate this into the negatives, where, oh, you're collecting this to determine who is bad, who is not bad, to micromanage, to penalize people. That's not the reason why we're collecting metrics. So back to your question. So we're measuring a lot of metrics. Very important metrics is a defect leakage. Defect leakage is how effective the testing was done during the testing before it gets to production, and how many issues are leaked into production after the release goes live. So this is the temperature of the quality. So this we're measuring across the board, across all of our 473 clients, which we had, who have, chances to releases or sprints. We always measure defect leakage indicator. And also all of this measurements, such as a defect leakage, is attributed to our goals and objectives for every single employee, because we want to maintain not, not more than 3% of the defects can be leaked into production. That's our sort of SLA with all the clients, not out
Mhm.
of those 3% defect leakage, they shouldn't be high severity or critical severity issues. They can only be low cosmetic UI types of issues and problems. That's the major, metric which we are measuring. Adherence to schedule, that's very, very important metrics as well, because when the clients demand certain things to be completed, when the test design needs to be completed by this time, when the testing execution needs to be completed by that time. Also, that's a very good metrics on how we adhering to the client's requests and demands with turnaround time to the schedule. And that's very, very important as well. Other metrics is we monitoring very closely the accuracy of our estimation. So for instance, if we spending
Mhm.
100 hours on this project and that's what we estimated and we will get billed for 100 hours that we know overspending time. Unfortunately, in some cases, we spend 200 hours instead of 100
Sure.
hours. And I'm
Yeah.
okay with that because I don't want to, impact quality. Very often, we always spend more for the clients because we dealing with a lot of fixed price cost projects where we already committing on the price. But I cannot say, I'm sorry, you burn out your budget. And for that reason, we're not going to complete testing with you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we always try to do more in order to feel comfortable and confident that whatever is getting released, it will be released of the quality, even though it's going to cost us more money and we will lose money in some cases. At least we're not going to ruin our reputation and, somebody
Yeah.
will remember a good quality work with
Absolutely. Do you have a hard stop at the top of the hour,
no,
or are you?
we can continue.
Okay, good, perfect. Because I'm loving where this conversation is going. The you're speaking my language with the defects and the tolerance acceptance. Because did you hear about this story? You probably love this story because it's a QA related. So back in the day when American manufacturers were wondering why Japanese cars had a lower failure rate compared to American cars, they compared drawings of two identical engines, and everything 99.9% was identical except for one thing.
Except
Do you know
for
what that was? It was tolerance.
the tolerance.
Yeah. Oh. So, when I was growing up, I was told this story, and it really stuck with me. So I feel like we're definitely onto something with regards to tolerance and 3%. I think that's great.
I mean,
Um,
obviously, you always should hire to have zero defect leakage, but we all know it's not
sure.
possible. I mean, even
Yeah.
Microsoft and Apple, there are always
Exactly.
problems, right? It's still impossible to
Exactly.
guarantee superior quality. But as long as there's no big problems and issues, that's sufficient. I think.
Yeah. With regards to it looks like you work with a lot of different types of customers and from different industries. So would it be, I think at some point, right, if we can talk about your ideal customer profile and what that looks like, and it could be, since you're diverse in the offerings, it could be a lot of different types. So I don't know if we want to talk about that now, or we could save it for a later time. But is there an ideal customer profile that you have, like, "Hey, this is my dream customer. This is the type of customer I want to do more business with."
Correct. So all along, we didn't choose customer. We help small customers, help big companies, startups, individual entrepreneurs, 500 companies. We never choose clients at all. Some competitors I know they dealing with only minimum $20,000 in value. Believe it or not, I close deals for $300, and I don't feel ashamed because
Mhm.
I help somebody even with a smaller website to bring something out there and baked in quality for this customer because you never know what that customer can transform into. Right? You might think
Mhm.
that, well, today he or she is spending $300 with you, but then his or her product will take some fraction and they start generating and they decided to build additional platforms and they're going to engage you. So I'm always thinking strategically for the future and I never, tell clients, I still have clients, we billing for 5 hours. 5 hours,
Sure.
$20, $100. We send invoice at the end of the month. Okay, that's
Sure.
fine. And
Yeah.
that's the reason why we have 473 clients. Companies said, Ruslan, are you bragging? You don't have 473 clients. I have 473 clients. They're not using me every month. I wish they all will be using me every month. But we're leveraging many service offerings which we provide is on demand. So on
Sure.
demand saves all of those customers and clients a lot of money. So they don't need to have long-term contracts. They don't need to have billable resources sitting idle,
Sure.
doing nothing
Sure.
throughout 2 weeks period. We post billability. They re-engage us at the later stage. Some of them wants to do penetration testing only once a quarter or once per year. Somebody wants to run performance testing only when they have some major releases, and that's maybe twice a year. Somebody wants to test only on a specific mobile device, which they don't have
Sure.
in the lab. So there's many different types of requests which we all support. So I don't choose clients. Of course, we all want big clients. We all
Sure.
want billable positions where it's not on demand, because on demand, when you stop billability, now you need to think where to repurpose this employee for another
Right.
project. You always have this headache constantly, right? Of course, I want
Utilization.
all my projects to be full-time billable. You know, you
Sure.
place 25 people in this bank and you get the billability. But
Yep.
we don't choose clients. And, I take any projects depending on complexity. I will tell you even more that some of the QA companies reaching out to me asking for help because they afraid to screw up some of the very complex projects, and they
Sure.
don't want to do it because they're afraid to take it. There's some projects that are
Sure.
very, very complex, and complex means, for example, QA audits. QA audits, it's our specialty. This is how we originated our organization. I was the only one who started, and I was doing and conducting QA audits and QA transformations for various of different customers and clients. So QA audit is like a doctor. You're trying to find the problems, diagnostics completely. It's a very, very sensitive job because people don't want to share what the problems are. Everybody says,
Right.
everything is great. Nobody wants you to look through their dirty laundry. Nobody wants to
Sure.
open the door and say, come and see where our problems are. So you have to be very gentle and be able to open up those people to explain them that I'm here to help. I'm not here to figure out whether you screw this up or not. That's not my
Sure.
role. My role is to help you. So you're not going to spend 60, 70 hours every week. You're not going to, work overtime and on the weekends. You're not going to delay the releases. You're going to enjoy the environment. You're going to work smartly according to the right processes and procedures. And then people start to open up, and I was able to grasp the information and truly get down to understanding where the issues are. So to me, this is the most complex area where you need to identify gaps, and then you need to prescribe the solutions, how to transform the company into the more mature QA processes or overall mature software development lifecycle. I got
Wait, you
a little
cut
bit
out for a little
delayed.
bit.
A little bit.
Yeah. 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 You can hear me now?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I lost you like for 30 seconds, I think.
Oh,
So sorry. Yeah, sometimes the technology is a challenge with this. Yesterday, Riverside had an AWS outage, and they were not able to do some recordings. But anyway, no, this is really good insight. So it looks like your ICP can be anything from a big customer to a small customer to somebody that might be $300 today, but they can have $300,000 worth of product in a year.
absolutely. We open for
So
everybody. We want to help
yeah,
anybody who needs help. That's our,
yeah,
idea, and that's our goal.
yeah.
So I don't want to
J-
be selective, and I
y-
want to help anybody. Whoever wants,
Sure.
they can knock out doors, and we will help. And
Yeah.
regardless, it's $300 or $300,000 client,
Right.
we will provide the same quality. We will treat those
Yeah.
clients equally the same. It's absolutely, the money behind means nothing to us. When it comes, it's just
Value.
deliverables, quality, and achieving exactly for
Yeah.
$300 or for $300,000. Same
Right.
players, same people. It's going to be exactly the same model behind.
No, that's good to know. Being open-minded is key to business growth, right? And that being said, do you have a 6-month, 12-month goal? Like, where do you feel like you guys want to be in terms of your business growth in 6 months or 12 months from now?
So every year, we put the goals and objectives in November. As a matter of fact, we're going to start next month with my executive
Nice.
management team to brainstorm and put some objectives for next year. Unfortunately, not all the goals we were able to achieve this year. We have very, very aggressive goal, but unfortunately, the market didn't allow us to achieve everything what we wanted to achieve. But I would say probably 70% of the goals we were able to, or we trending green on 70%. We wanted obviously higher percentage, but we still, I would say, I would still be happy if we will accomplish 70% of our goals. So we operate into short-term goals, long-term goals. Where we want to be strategically, we want to become a next McDonald's for quality assurance and software testing. So we want to be around the world. We want to help many companies around the world to establish a better QA processes. So we expanding across the board. We have three locations which we wanted to open and operate very soon. One is in Dubai, another one is in Philippines, and then we're looking into Latin America as well to expand and position ourselves because many of our clients operating with
Mhm.
different time zones and we trying to have a shorter cycles. Even though we operating 24/7, we actually have 5 shifts operating model because many clients want night shifts, evening shifts. We even have a weekend shifts because they're releasing their sprints and releases of the production and they want health checks and production verifications and validations to be done. We are really global 24/7 operating model, but we're trying to have resources which are located with 3-4 hours time zone proximity and still be cost effective when it comes to the offshore and when it comes to low cost.
Sure.
So again, where we want to be, we wanted to grow. We wanted to become 1,000 people organization. That's kind of the goal. That's kind of the idea for us. We wanted to also achieve 1,000 clients mark, right? 1,000 people, 1,000 clients, right? That's sort of our ultimate goal. Where realistically we want to be next year. We, wanted to grow. We used to grow year after year at the rate of 30% on average. But again, as I mentioned before, 3 years ago, because of the war in Ukraine, because of the economy, and because of transformation on how the QAs viewed, things become a little challenging. So
Yeah.
we were moving into the different directions a little bit. So now we're recovering. We still need to recover certain things. And that's the goal for us to be able to recover through new services. We wanted to offer more services, more offerings, such as accessibility testing, also AI adoption, where we did a lot of research across the board on various different AI tools. So we wanted to be able to adopt the tools for the various different customers and clients, enterprise level tools. We're actually creating our own agent and deploy those agents to support various different customers and clients. So that's another specialized service which we will be offering. And we started offering, we launched last month's talent solution service, which will allow to identify the right resources across the board, not just for QA, because we did this very well. So we decided to expand this and now offer this across the board for every company who wants the IT skillful resource. We would be able to identify and place as a full timer or as a consultant. And that's done through the technology. We almost finish and complete building of the technology, which will allow us to scale very quickly in terms of identifying the right candidates. There is some AI elements built in, but we're not just relying purely on AI to
Yeah.
interview candidates. That's not the way to do it. But there's a number of interesting things which we built in, which allows us to be much quicker and faster than all of our competitors in terms of identifying the right candidates. And the right candidates you're identifying, not just looking at the resume and sending that resume to your client, but pre-screening, evaluating, doing a technical evaluation, doing the cultural fit, personality trait evaluation. All of these components needs to be matched in order to provide recommendations for that hiring decision. we wanted to change the market in hiring and make this very fair and at the same time very quick in terms of the turnaround time. So that's some other goals which we're
Amazing.
trying to achieve.
No, that's great. So if this was a magic wand and you had this, what was the one thing in your business that's holding you back that you would change?
One thing in the business which I would change now is probably we need to strengthen our marketing and advertising direction because for the most part, I was playing this role and wearing
Yeah,
this hat, but I'm not one man army. I cannot be any more one man army. So I think we need to look into those areas, into those directions. I should be able to rely on other people to drive this, not just think that, I can only do it the right way. I
sure.
still keep it to the heart for some reason, this
Yes,
area. I cannot let it go. I don't know why, but I need to let it go in order for us to scale and generate more business and more opportunities. You got to be more people playing the role. Again, if you're playing soccer and you're only playing with one player, you will not beat the
can't do
team
it.
of 11,
You
right?
can't
I
score
know
goals.
that.
Yeah,
So that's something which we need to sort of change that approach, that strategy. And
perfect.
that comes from me. And I
Yeah,
need to change in that direction as well in order to achieve that. So that's
it,
my
it,
limitation at this point of time.
well, it's a lot to do with all the hard work that you put into developing the company, right? So it is close to your heart. You don't want to let it go because it's your baby, right? You have a daughter, but this is also your baby, right? You want to see it handled with the right gloves and provide the white glove service as much as possible. So that actually brings us into the perfect, transition out for the podcast. So I don't know if you had a chance to look at the Growth Amped website.
I look absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So, so as you saw, we specialize in helping IT service providers, whether they're on the software space or the quality assurance. IT has a lot of similar growing pains, right? And so we help them, scale their revenue and grow their business. And while I keep learning from leaders such as yourselves, the pains that we identify are very similar. It's in the SMB sector, we see this a lot where founders are so passionate about their business that uh, you know th- they want it done a certain way, and there is they want to provide that customer experience. But as we said at the beginning of the podcast, there's only so many hours in a day, right? Where are you best served? It's funny when I used to, back in the COVID times, I was doing some house flipping and stuff. And so we would call them minimum wage tasks that you want to let somebody else do for you so you can focus on the strategic aspects of it. So anyway, not to diminish the importance of it, but we've done a lot of great things in terms of growth for managed services providers, IT service providers, and I feel like we can definitely help with, if you're open to a conversation where we can do a little more of a discovery, I think we can come up with some good growth strategies and have something that'll help you guys get to your goals a lot sooner. How do you?
Absolutely. I think this
Yeah,
is very, very important. And some of this expert directions from companies such as yourself, absolutely. I mean, those great advices sometimes can help to generate additional, millions of revenue in the future,
yeah,
right? And the way, the structure and be able to scale this accordingly.
right.
My thing was the problem to find another clones of myself throughout my
Yes,
career, right? And we know that it's
yeah,
not going to happen.
right.
So you have to empower, your management team, your executive management team. You have to trust them. You have to make
Absolutely.
sure that they, ready to take on, right? Because I
Yeah,
personally believe that if everything depends on you, that's not a good business, right? Model.
absolutely.
Business should work without you when you go on vacation, when everything goes well. Now, I go
Exactly.
on vacation nowadays, I feel comfortable. 7 years ago, I was not. And actually, I don't remember a great vacation because I was constantly on the laptop or on the phone. And that was not a vacation. Now we're
Right.
going and moving towards that direction. Obviously, there's room for improvements there, but I still feel I want management team to make those decisions without me, be able to figure
Yep.
out the right decisions when I'm not there I necessarily, right? So that's something which needs to be coached, needs to be trained, needs to be guided. And, companies like yourself definitely can
Absolutely.
help out. So I'm definitely open, to have some discovery calls and see, what you guys can provide. And I always, open for
Absolutely.
advices and anything which can help us out to scale, because this is very, very big pain point for many organizations.
Absolutely. So, meeting invite will follow shortly here after we're off the call. But yeah, I think let me also write it down. I stopped trusting my memory.
Right?
I like to write stuff down. I have my weekly planner
Oh,
that
nice. Wow.
I just yeah.
I also like to take notes and put something in my notepad, even though we have all these platforms now where you can put
Right.
everything, in a computer, but I'm an old fashioned guy. When I write something, for some reason, it's kind of stays in my memory.
100%. Some of us will never change, right? We'll always be like that. So, yeah, we can definitely do that and we can set aside an hour and if it goes over, if you're good with that, that's
Yeah. Yeah. Let's do it. Perfect.
perfect. No, it's been a pleasure. I've enjoyed the insights that you've given me, and I do like to talk about QA whenever I get a chance, and it's
Yeah.
very seldom
You
because
know a
people not
lot
everybody
about it.
gets
And
it.
again, you did some homework and, definitely you're on the same page with us in terms of
Yes,
human intelligence aspect. And to
absolutely.
me, it's common sense. To me, you don't have to, you don't have to be a genius to understand these things. But unfortunately, not many, try to understand this, and, really struggle.
Exactly. Well, also, there's definitely good candidates to tasks to automate, and then there's some that are better served with the hand holding. So,
Certain things you must automate, because otherwise it's
right,
going to take you tremendous amount of time to do it. So, but again,
right,
you don't start with automation. That's where I'm
right.
against for. You start always
Exactly.
with a strategy, right? You start with
Yep.
evaluation process. Start with
Yep.
analysis first. You don't throw, you know, you don't throw
Exactly.
bodies at the problem, right? Figure out what's the problem.
Exactly.
You might need only
Exactly.
one person to resolve it. Don't throw 10
Yeah.
people to it, right?
Yeah. So that's funny because at Growth Amped, we're at heart we are a growth agency, but there are human things that we do because of course the AI deployment is our path to revenue, but there's no substitute for this conversation that you and I are having. Then we'll have a discovery call. Then all these outputs kind of help us custom build the solution. Like you said, no two customers are the same. There's a $300 customer, there's a $3 million customer. Each has a different requirement, but everyone is unified in that they want to grow. So
Absolutely.
how
Absolutely.
the,
Yeah. Let me
it,
know, you'll tell more about your company. I mean, I'm talking to a lot of CEO like level people who are looking for help, assistance. And the more I know, the more I can recommend
absolutely
I can definitely leverage your
much appreciated.
services as well. So let's
Yeah,
discuss. Let's figure out, what can be done. And it seems to me that you pretty knowledgeable and, very sharp individual.
thank you.
It was really, I really enjoy having a conversation and discussion today. It was very fun.
Same here. It is very glad to meet you and that you took out time from your day to tell me about QA Mentor and how you guys are doing. I'm happy that there is a company like yours in the QA space that can help customers really get to that uh, the level where they can take the burden of testing out of their mindset and let somebody else that is professional that has the tools that has the expertise handle it. So I think you're definitely onto something, and I'm very much looking forward to meeting with you next week as we, behind the curtain, do a little more discovery, and we can put some heads together.
Perfect. Perfect. Excellent. All right. Very good. Looking forward speaking with you
Awesome, Ruslan.
next week. Thank you for your
Same.
time as well. We'll appreciate
Thank
it.
you, sir. All right. Have a
Thank
good
you.
one.
Have
Bye
a nice
bye.
day. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye bye.